So, the 25th anniversary of good old Pac-Man was certainly an interesting one. Like, there was one game he had where you got to draw him and see that drawing come to life and eat all the ghosts on a page. And now we got another game that came out a few months later where you're literally controlling Pac-Man as a spherical ball.
Look him go. There he is.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pac'n Roll. An interesting little origin story for the Packster.
My name is Pac-Man. I'm staying over at Pac-Master. The Master Ghost Hunter is housed during the school holidays.
Yep, this was back when Pac-Man was still a schoolboy.
Should I wait for the text to load before I do this?
Probably.
Well, that's up to you, really.
Come now, you have to do better than that to become a two-pack warrior.
Oh.
I mean, it's okay. We always deal with this because that was like the Shatner dialogue timing.
Pretty much.
There are many mischievous ghosts in Pac-Land. I'm training hard so that one day I'll be able to fight them myself.
One day I'll be the big cultural icon and inflict everyone with the Pac-Man fever.
Oh.
One day I'll be a meme.
I'm so tired I sleep like a log every night. But ever since I came here, I always have the same strange dream.
You know, I'm not gonna... this is more so on the game and not so much Sealy, but I don't know if this voice really fits Pac-Man.
Well, again, this is Pac-Man as a child, so I think it works to
Yeah,
an
that's
extent.
why I thought it worked.
Right, and what Hype's referring to, Sealy, is while you're talking, Pac-Man does actually have a kind of Banjo-Kazooie-esque sound being made whenever he's talking.
Like, honest to God, I feel like it feels like something that would belong in, like, say, the Klonoa games that really thrive on that kind of
yeah. It does sound noise, but so okay. So I see it. So it's basically Pac-Man where you're sliding around like a trackball, like a mouse trackball, and genuinely compared to the artist Pac-Man, I'm actually quite impressed by the 3D visuals of the level.
Yeah, it looks pretty decent for a DS game. And oh god, that shadowy figure is coming towards us. He wants to rock our world. Well, we're not going to give him that because he's so slow. I could easily just roll past him.
Why don't you?
And
Cheese it. So now, you'll never take me alive,
and
rocker.
full power. Oh, we didn't make it. And we roll right out of bed.
Oh.
Oh, the same dream again.
Come on, Pac-Man. It's time to get up. Today is the Harvest Festival.
Oh,
So Hallows Eve.
that's
That's
Sealy.
Pac-Man.
That's Pac-Man's wife. She sounds harsh, but deep down she's really nice.
Pac-Master's
Training is
wife.
tough, but I have two things to look forward to. Sorry, I got a little
okay.
confused there for a moment.
The first thing I'm looking forward to is the Harvest Festival. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, so I have my nose closed.
That works. What a great
Should I keep
harvest of power pellets. You won't have to worry about those ghosts anytime soon.
Should I keep my nose closed?
No,
to.
don't go make him look like a nerd.
Oh, fine.
I bet they're shaking in their boots right about now.
Speaking of the ghosts, let's see how they're doing in their totally not spooky haunted mansion home.
We don't have
Well,
boots. Oh no, they don't stand a chance.
With those Pac'n power pellets.
I'll be the blue one since it appears to be female, or...
No,
The
the
pink
one's
one, you're
female.
Pinky.
Oh, okay.
Alright, thanks, we have no choice. Let's resurrect legendary ghost.
Oh no! And Hype can be the orange guy and go.
Yeah, because like just as a reminder for people, I tend to download these videos at a pretty low quality to compensate for how long they usually take to download, and that sometimes amounts to small text looking like Blargle.
Which is fair.
So orange. Look at the orange guy on the left. He looks so chill in that picture. He'll be our
He really
Dan.
doesn't give
You
two
gotta
shits.
straighten up.
Is he really coming?
I gotta add more gravel to my voice.
Meanwhile,
The other thing I'm looking forward to is seeing Pac-Master's daughter, Pac-Girl.
Oh,
Pac Girl.
let's walk around the festival together.
The irony in this.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just thought of a silly deep voice for around that exact moment. My bad. Say one for one.
I do apologize for how long this intro sequence is, though.
It's
a literal
story.
It's the ghost UFO.
Why do they have a UFO? They're ghosts.
I was about to say, are we ghosts? Are we aliens?
It's
Oh,
gold. Oh my freaking god! It's an
Wait.
Elvis ghost. That's why he's rocks and rolls.
R.
R.
O.
Oh my freaking god.
C.
No.
For kids.
W.
K.
Leave.
Here's what you've been waiting for. Oh yeah, I'm Golvis, the king of rock and roll.
What is this world?
What is this?
That's the ghost from my dream.
Golvis.
How do you
Gol-
forget the Golvis?
Is that really Golvis?
I guess so.
Are you sure?
No. I'll take you on, Golvis. Show me your move. I'm sorry. Just the
I'll
voice
take
there.
you on, human.
Thanks.
Show me your moves.
Oh no, power pellets, run!
He
One or
doesn't.
two measly power pellets won't do anything to me. No way!
Blue. The power pellets aren't working.
Actually, if you pay close attention, he's only partially turned blue.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Hey, Jack, let's turn him into balls with our rockin' beam.
I guess Jack's the guitar.
Okay, boss.
Oh, wow, the guitar. Okay.
Yeah, the guitar actually talks in. Look at that. They're all balls.
They lost their legs.
And their arms.
No!
At least they didn't lose their motor functions.
True. Sit back and watch as I take over the Pac'n.
Yep. He's gonna take over our world with the power of, suction.
Vacuums?
I was gonna say rock and roll, but I guess that works too.
Rock and suck.
Oh
No, Pac Girl!
Oh no!
What the?
But wait. Someone has come to the rescue. It's this cute little fairy.
What the?
Uh,
Crystal.
Oh, it's you, Crystal.
Too many characters
Hell,
now.
was Crystal?
I'll
there's too
take
many-
care of you too.
I don't know who. There's so many new characters.
Try.
Oh.
I was not expecting this much lore.
I know,
I was
right?
gonna say,
Again,
I
this
could
intro
just
was
use my
kind of
Peach
long.
voice for this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm getting sucked in. You'll pay for doing this to me.
You did it to yourself, you fool!
it's just so weird. It feels like every Pac'n game has their own singular condensed lore attached to it.
I'll get you next time. Just you wait and see.
I mean,
Wait, game's over already?
I mean,
You know what? It looks like it may as well be, but actually, no. He just escaped.
Ryan, our friends are still gone.
Hey, you have to defeat Govan! Who, me? Even Pac-Monster couldn't beat him.
This goodness be your right hype. Everyone has its own story, its own backstory, its own characters, and they keep retconning and
Escape from Castle Pac at dawn.
Why are we Oh, okay.
Okay.
It looks like he just it looks like she just left him there for hours.
That's how my rolling journey to return peace to Pac-Land began.
So, for those of you that are still watching the video,
Oh
we're actually about to get to the game right now. Terribly sorry about that.
Devil damn, this thing pretty much is close to half the video.
Welcome
It
back
is.
to welcome to Pack and Roll.
Yep, back and roll. It's, well, you already saw a glimpse of what the gameplay's like with the intro, but let's see how that applies to an actual level.
Okay.
So yeah, the name of the game is to just roll to the goal, and you know what? I'm not really feeling this one. Let me do something else.
Whoa.
There we go.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I
Zoom
remember
in
this
there.
was part of that compilation thing that we did years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pack and Roll segment of Namco Museum Remix, or Mega Mix, for the Nintendo Wii.
So wait, so how did they? So if this is in the Namco whatever thingy, which we'll get to that, we'll get to the full thing of that eventually. How did they handle the controls in this if you're not doing touchscreen anymore?
Well, to move around, you just got to use the control stick. That's really all there is to it.
That's so much easier.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't have to worry about ruining your bottom screen just trying to get Pac-Man to move or dash.
Right.
Which, speaking of, yeah, like with the original game's controls, it was all touchscreen based, and here, yeah, you use the control stick to move. You shake the Wii remote to literally make Pac-Man dash, and you can press the Z button to make him suddenly stop on a dime.
Okay.
Which is also for those times where you start going a little out of control, and you might need a little extra time to think.
But yeah. Okay. If we're looking at this, it seems like either marble it up. It seems like a nice marble it up kind of game. Have you ever played any marble games like this, Seedley?
No, I have not.
Me neither.
Oh, that's just James and I then. I like
It
Marvel
scared me.
roller games.
Steve cut off, and then I didn't hear any sound from the video because I clicked away from the top for a second. I'm like, wait, what happened?
No, okay, you're fine, you're fine. It was just loading.
Yeah, the game's just loading up, but yeah, like Pac'n Roll. Yep,
Oh,
the
no.
ghosts are still here to ruin our day, and well, you know how Pac-Man logic goes at this point. You gotta find a power pellet and turn them blue, and then eat them.
I don't like that they don't seem to have their own, like, AI. They just home right in on you.
Didn't they
Yeah.
sort of do that?
I mean, it's weird because like in the
Oh no!
Oh, you have health. Okay, you have health.
Yeah, we have a health system, which is helpful. But anyway, yeah, it's funny because like in the original Pac-Man arcade game, like all the ghosts had like very, very unique AI to them, which made their patterns a little unpredictable. Whereas, well, I mean, this game wasn't really made with that kind of system in mind. So the ghosts, once they see you, they just they're trying to go after you. Or in the case where you get a power pellet, you have to literally they'll get away from you.
Aye. That's fair.
But yeah, no, like Pac'n Roll, like on the surface, is a pretty simple.
That face right there is a mood. That ghost expression.
Kind of
Oh, boy.
isn't it? But anyway, yeah, no, Pac'n Roll at its core is a pretty simple, well, scrolling adventure sort of game. I want to call it a platformer, even though you don't exactly jump on platforms, but you roll into them like so.
There we go. Got it.
Oh, there's another ghost on the left. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, they're hiding.
I guess,
how do you,
I guess
how do you
there's one
rotate-
thing to be said about the remix/megamix version of Pac'n Roll. Well, okay, for the sake of it, we'll just call it Pac'n Roll Remix because that's exactly what they call this segment. I think the camera is just a little bit tucked into the screen compared to the actual game, where it's actually pretty dang small.
Not gonna lie
Pac-Man
though.
is literally like a speck amongst the world map.
Although not gonna lie, looking at this, I could not imagine trying to navigate this on the smaller DS screen.
I mean, it's possible, but even so, it's just. I mean, I will say, like, it kind of shocked me something fierce to see that they actually recreated the entirety of Pac'n Roll onto the bigger screen.
It is nice.
Excuse me.
That's okay. It is nice. I guess I'll ask because I'm curious. If they remade everything for the screen and everything, why didn't you use this version's like story cutscenes and stuff, or did they omit those?
Here's the ironic thing about that, Logan. It pretty much carried over everything from the original game,
Oh jeez.
except the story.
So no, all those cutscenes do not play in the remix.
They do not.
You know what? One could argue that it's not that big of a loss.
I mean, one could argue that it just streamlined it a little bit, but
It is kind of funny because, like, when it comes to the Pac-Man games, like a lot of people always see him as like the everyday average man with a family and all that stuff. Even though it's like that only covers like very specific versions of Pac-Man, whereas Pac-Man in general is just whatever the developers feel like that time.
right. They
Although
kinda
there is
mix
one
and
thing to be
match.
said, though, like, one thing that's fairly consistent with, like, the actual original take on Pac-Man is that, you still got Pac-Man himself, you got the ghosts. Very often, you'll also see them paired up with, like, a few fairy characters, hence why Crystal was a thing.
Uh-huh.
And, other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all there really is to it.
How
I
many
mean, I'll
Pac-
give just Pac-Man as a franchise. I'll give them credit for definitely being very experimental, but I just kind of think it's an instance where it's like I sometimes question like not so much from a gameplay perspective, but I guess from a lore perspective, it's just an instance of like, was there really a necessity to like add in some of the things that they usually add?
It depends on what you think of it. Like, I'll admit I'm one of those people that that feel the whole family man sort of aspect, or this whole race of Pac people, kind of like what Pac-Man World sort of thing did. I feel that kind of that whole thing regarding
Knight's
it is a
armor.
little overrated.
What can Knight's armor do for us?
Knight's armor, well, it makes us slower, but it also makes us impervious to projectiles like arrows. Not only that, it also powers up your charge ability.
To break through walls and stuff?
No, more so to break. You can break through wooden crates more easily, but you can also break metal crates.
You peasants are no match for a real knight.
Oh boy, this is getting dizzy.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's kind of this has to look kind of uncomfortable considering you're just rolling around in a lump of metal.
I could never play a first-person mode of this.
Yeah, I would love if for any game like this, whether it be this or for stuff like Super Monkey Ball and whatnot, if there's ever a moment where when you finish a level or you stop, the character just takes a moment to like recompose themselves or like stop being dizzy or whatnot.
Yeah, we saw some. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Also, it should be said, one other thing that this game has, which I didn't really show off all that well, considering I actually I was replaying levels. Every once in a while, you'll find a specific food item that'll actually increase your overall health. Like, there's one level where you can find literally a slice of pizza, and you eat that, you pretty much gain 1 extra health unit.
Okay, so they've
That's why I have 4 health now.
Oh, we're heavy, so we're heavy. We can no longer float on the water.
That's also. Go ahead.
I guess it makes sense that pizza will restore his health, because you could argue that he basically is a pizza shape.
He looks
Okay,
so
right.
cute in
Pizza
that
shape.
armor.
I need the idea. I forget. Honest to God, I gotta ask. What's the most recent Pac-Man game that we've gotten so far?
The most recent Pac-Man game. I know there was a Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, which got a Switch version.
True.
Or an extended Switch version, rather. But other than that, I don't know what the last. I don't remember what the last Pac-Man related
How
thing we
long
got.
was it since Ghostly Adventures 2 was released?
About maybe
'Cause that was Wii U, wasn't
4 or
it?
5 years ago.
Yeah, that was like around Wii U's time.
Like the whole Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures thing kind of died out a few years ago.
Yay!
Hey.
So, what have your experiences been like with this game, James? Pack and roll.
I mean, I was a pretty big Pac-Man fanatic back in the day, and like, again, I did try out the likes of Pac and Roll and stuff, and then once I learned of Namco Museum Remix's existence and the fact that they actually did recreate all of Pac and Roll along with a whole bunch of other things, I was like, wow, I should get this. So I
You
did.
can fly.
And now we're Peter Pac.
Oh my god.
We don't exactly fly per se, but we are much lighter and we can technically hover.
Okay. And no.
The only thing you gotta take into account is that because you're lighter, you're also very much a bit slipperier as a result.
Okay. The Luigi factor.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, okay. You're a literal butterball, Pac-Man.
It's a green hat, so I guess it's the Luigi factor.
That is also true.
Well,
But yeah, like, from what you guys are seeing so far, what do you think?
I like
Oh, looks interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the little marble game twist they did. The colors seem like a nice little. How do we get them out of there? Oh,
Dash him.
okay. I mean, I genuinely like seeing how many times and or with what creativity they can to take the very simple story of Pac-Man and turn it on its head, because like that's the thing, like typically with something like Mario you could argue there's still the plot of he wants to save the princess from the dragon monster. With Pac-Man there's never really been a story. The story was you're somehow in this maze and there's ghosts and you can eat everything, and that was your story.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty much.
So seeing how they try to take that concept and turn it into an actual plot and stuff is always interesting to see for me. Oh, nuts.
Oh well.
Oh well, honestly, that's kind of a tricky dick to make. So whatever the case, I just appreciate I got to the goal anyway. And with that said, folks, that's pretty much where we'll end our look at. By this point, we would actually be able to move on to the next world, which is Jungle Base. And to Namco Museum Remix / Megamix's credit, they actually do add in one more full-fledged world.
Oh, nice. I was more so kind of bummed, like, they don't have any bosses, no boss levels.
There is a boss, but it's not world. There's no, like, not every world has a boss. In fact, I think the only boss in the game is Golvis himself.
Fair enough.
And I mean, granted, I could have probably shown off his boss fight in the second world, but I was at this point, I was like, I think I've recorded all I needed to, so we'll stop there. But yeah, on that note, that's it for Pack and Roll. Well, it's technically for the DS, but that which I also showed was for the Namco Museum Remix / Megamix for the Nintendo Wii. And I mean, if you still have a Wii or Wii U to play it on, I'd definitely recommend it.
Okay.
I mean, the actual compilation itself is very stellar. As a matter of fact, we can get more into it in our next look at.
Bye, everybody.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Bye bye.
Walk up.